Hello, hello, hello. TM24 here, and we are back with some more Marvel Snap content. Now, you've seen the thumbnail, you've read the title, you know today we are talking about Silver Samurai, one of the newest cards in Marvel Snap, a 4/5 reading. On reveal, each player discards the lowest power card from their hand. So what I've done here is I've built a little deck here to try Silver Samurai, but make sure that it was a nice competitive deck as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some gameplay, kind of walk you through my decisions there. Then we'll talk about this deck and Silver Samurai, and I'll give you my thoughts at the end on whether I think he's worth it or not. But for now, let's get into some gameplay. Alright, hopping right into some gameplay here. As you can see, I've got my list up in the top left corner. We'll kind of run through it real quick. We've got X-23, Zabu, Swarm, Colleen Wing are going to be our 2-drops. Our 3-drops are going to be Killmonger and Daken. 4-drops, Shang-Chi, Absorbing Man, and Silver Samurai. 5-drops, Stature, Black Bolt, and then, of course, Miss Chavez there as our lone 6-drop. She's going to help provide that consistent draw and help us hit the cards that we're actually trying to hit. So what are we trying to do with this deck? Well, first up, we've got some targeted discard with this list. We've got Colleen Wing aiming for things like X-23 and Swarm. Silver Samurai doing something similar, whether it's X-23, Swarm, something like that. We don't mind. And then we've got Black Bolt as another discard option, more so hitting our opponent there, helping us get that cheap stature out there so that, you know, we could have some nice turn 6s. So as you can see here, we're able to get Daken on 3 and go right into Silver Samurai on 4. Now this just feels like a really strong play. Over the course of 2 turns, you end up getting 13 power down and delete one of your opponent's cards. As you can see, we get the discount on stature as well. So overall, it just feels like a really nice play going Daken into Silver Samurai, 3-4, and then following it up with whatever else you got going on. As you can see here, we've kind of loaded our left 2 lanes. Our opponent is focusing more on that Atlantis lane. Obviously, some sort of a discard list, and maybe they're trying to get those discounts or trying to buff up their null, but overall, they haven't had too much luck. X-23 hits Atlantis again, so they don't even get the +5 there, and that just allows us to play an easy Chavez onto that far right lane. It's going to be really tough for them to take back 2 lanes. As you can see, they spread their power out a little bit. A Cosmo comes down and a Death, but even that wasn't enough to take the workshop. So not quite sure what they were thinking there. We end up stealing that game. So again, going into turn 1 here, we feel like we are in a pretty good spot. Something like Warrior Falls is going to benefit us, whether it's X-23 going down, Daken Shard going down. We are okay with losing either of those. Now TVA pops up, meaning the game's going to end early. Now that's not necessarily a bad thing for us because we can get some early power out there. We've already got X-23. Now if she goes down, that's a little bit tough, but with armor coming through, we know that she's not. But as you can see, we're lined up really nicely for turns 3 and 4. We've got Daken, we've got Silver Samurai. If the game ends up getting extended, we still have more, more power that we can put out there. So we're going to be able to just toss Daken in there into the Warrior Falls and then get ready for our turn 4, which, as I talked about in the last game, Daken into Silver Samurai 3-4 feels like a really, really nice play. So what we do here is we just play Daken. We've got Samurai ready to go. If this game ends early, we are okay. Now we feel good just tossing Samurai into Limbo because 5 is tough for our opponent to combat. We get rid of the shards, so that buffs up Daken. They play a Captain Marvel, end up getting 6 power into that middle location, but ultimately not enough. So as you can see with this list, draw dependent, you can get a lot of power out there early by turn 4 and win those early games. Now we could have even done more had we been able to discard something like Swarm and get a couple of free Swarms out there. Ultimately, we didn't end up needing it, but still a really nice win right there. You can already see what I'm thinking here. I'm trying to count out what I'm doing. Turn 2, we've got Zabu. Turn 3, we've got Daken. We're going to try and hold back X-23 and Swarm, kind of more as some discard options here, or into something like Boromir. We don't mind tossing X-23 so that we will get that extra energy the following turn. So Get Zabu down, Savage Land pops up. That's a little bit frustrating, but ultimately not too bad for us because we feel fine just tossing Daken there, knowing that he's going to be 8 power into that Savage Land, which is going to be tough for our opponent to challenge there. They're going to have to spend something a little bit bigger than a 3-drop, at least a 4, maybe a 5, in order to actually contest us there. Now here we get to pull off a really nice play of going X23 right into Killmonger. So we're going to get rid of X23 2 times, meaning we're going to get 2 extra energy going into the next turn, which is really, really nice. We're also going to delete some Raptors, clear up some space, and we are just going to be, in a really nice spot going into these next couple turns. Now, Wong comes out, and Wong is always scary, but ultimately, we are okay here. Now, we've got to kind of make a decision here. We can play just a Stature. We know with Wong coming out, it's probably going to be one of three things maybe. Maybe it's Black Panther, maybe it's White Tiger, maybe it's something like Ironheart. So really, we've got to try and play in a way that allows us the most outs. Seeing Black Panther, we already know what's coming now, and since they're ahead, we've got to make a play that we think will win us the game, and this is where I really love having Zabu in this list, allowing us to get 2 4-drops out there on turn 6. So we're going to be able to go double Shang-Chi and just try and win that middle location with Killmonger. As we can see here, Zola does come through, tossing Wong and Black Panther both into the other 2 lanes, which would be a really, really nice play, but we read that perfectly. No matter how much power gets there, it's not going to matter because we've got Shang-Chi ready to go. Feels bad for our opponent, but definitely a really nice play on our part, reading what they were doing and having the counter ready. Love the Shang-Chi Absorbing Man combo to actually take out decks like this. So it's not all built around Silver Samurai. This deck can get you wins other ways, and that's what's important. Alright, so you've seen the gameplay. Now let's talk about Silver Samurai and this list a little bit. So what we've got here is some targeted discard with some cards that get buffed, some discounts, and just some overall good cards in Marvel Snap. So now, of course, Silver Samurai, he's supposed to be the star of this deck, but ultimately, I don't believe Silver Samurai is kind of a build-around card. Now, is he a nice complementary piece? Yeah, definitely at a 4-5, discarding one of your opponent's cards and discarding something that you want to discard, like the Muramasa Shard or potentially X23, maybe even Swarm. He can definitely be useful. And this deck was built to make sure that we could get as much out of Silver Samurai and some of these other discards as possible. So you can see the discard package. We've got Colleen Wing, Swarm, Black Bolt, and Silver Samurai. Now, these are all essentially targeted discards, and what I mean by that is we're trying to hit something specific. In this instance, the lowest cost card in our hand. Whether that's X23, Swarm, or the Shard, we feel pretty good. Kind of the same thing goes with Silver Samurai, each player discarding the lowest power card from their hand. But where Black Bolt differs a little bit is that he is only going to discard something from our opponent's hand. Still really nice because he's a 5/7, and then that'll help you get that Stature out if you haven't been able to play Silver Samurai. But overall, I do like this list. It's really consistent. It gets steady power out there, but I don't think it's going to blow any other decks away. What is really nice is that you've got some strong cards in here. You've got Killmonger, Daken, Shang-Chi, Absorbing Man. Basically, this whole middle row is super, super strong in this list. You're going to get some power from Daken, be able to take out some of your opponent's early game with Killmonger. But where I really see a ton of value is Shang-Chi and Absorbing Man. Especially with Zabu out there, it means you can play both of those on turn 6, turn 7. Lots of games are going to 7 turns now. And essentially just delete your opponent's, highest power cards on 2 separate lanes. So I really like that combo there. If you're able to get some discards in and get some free swarms down as well, get a 1/6 stature, you're sitting really pretty. So I really do like this list. But as this video is about Silver Samurai, like I said, I don't think he's the star of this list. I don't think he's going to be the star of any list. I think he's going to be a nice complementary piece. But overall, if you've got other cards that you need, I definitely look at getting some of those before going for Silver Samurai. Yes, he feels pretty good playing him, especially if you can follow Daken right up with a samurai. That feels like a really, really strong 3-4. But overall, I don't think he's going to be the centerpiece of any deck. Now, I'd love to know what you guys think. Feel free to put your thoughts in the comments below. And if you've hung around till now, I really do appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. Stay tuned and be on the lookout for more Marvel Snap content. But until the next one, have some fun.